Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. I'm on the laptop. But I'm just going to spin this round so you can just quickly say hello to the Curly Cooks. Look, there they are.
Mine's gone frizzy. My hair's gone frizzy.
The frizzy farts from Felton.
Oh, don't even start.
Frizzy farts from Felton. Anyway, so I think the Curly Cooks is obviously happening at 10 o'clock. The link is on the channel. Nadia's going to put something up on her stories if you guys want to find it and click through and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to quickly run through some of the news headlines today for you guys. How are we all? How are you all this fantastic, fantabulous Saturday morning? Morning, Ellery Jones, Gordon Stevenson, Helen, 76 South Africa. How are you, my darling? Raspberry Mojito Girl. How are we all? It's miserable weather here. What's it right there? Absolutely miserable.
Can Dina make a coffee?
No, that's fine. You're gonna have lots of off-camera noise as the Curly Cooks proceed to shave all their hair off. I think it's going to be quite an entertaining show because save that. Save it. It's a bit.
I'm just saying.
Oh, I thought you were about to show it off.
Morning, everybody. How are you?
I was just saying. I think it's going to be interesting because they've already got one of Toffee's balls right where they need to work. So I think one of them could end up going over.
Actually, you're right. All morning we've been walking around that bloody dog bowl. So we're going to be making some yummy things. Dina's making a vegan dish, but we're going to tell you easily how to adapt it to non-vegan. And I'm making a meat dish, and we're going to tell you how you can easily adapt it to vegan. And I was making flipping tea.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm slightly petrified about that. So Nads, I'll send you the link. You can give everyone a story. So if you go to Nadia's Instagram afterwards, you'll be able to find it that way if you don't have a YouTube account. Morning, everyone. So, guys, it's Saturday morning. What? It's the 7th of January. A week has already gone. There's only 50 weeks till Christmas. Only 47 weeks until Vlogmas. How did that happen? Okay, so let's have a quick look at the news. Oh, hello, Portuguese Adventure. Oh, and welcome to DM. You remember, I think you've been before. You've been away and you've come back. So hi, Vicky TTV. We're good. Thank you, Vicky TTV. If you didn't catch it, we're doing our top 10 films on the Popcorn Junkies. So 10 down to 6 has landed. 5 down to 1 will be landing later. So Prince Bloody Harry. We were just telling Dina about the stallion story.
Her face is picture.
I've never seen a face like it. So Prince Harry is obviously on the front of all the papers, and as we were saying yesterday, he faces global fury over Taliban kill claims. Veterans are accusing him of putting his own safety at risk, as well as that of his father. Morning, Chris Ross. Well, Mark Sanders. Sanders a bit distant. Second, is that better? Sound a bit distant. Check your mic. Is that better? Maybe it was because I had the headphones in. Is that better? Is that better? Tell me if that's better. Better. Fantastic. Okay. So front page. I was just saying. So everything we just did a minute ago was the Curly Cooks is happening at 10. If you go to Nadia's Instagram, very soon she's going to have put up a link. And so if you don't have a YouTube account, you'll be able to click on that. And I was just saying hello to everyone, really. And it's miserable weather here. It's windy, it's wet, it's rainy. I was also saying it's only 47 weeks till Vlogmas. 47 weeks. Can you believe that? We're already 1 week in to 2023. It's a bit miserable, isn't it? Morning, Michu, Becky Fithian, Karen Ula, Raspberry Mojito Girl, Daniela, April Hill. That's better, isn't it? Ellery Jones. Good morning. So the first story is, unsurprisingly, I was just saying as well, in case you didn't hear it, we just told Dina about the stallion story with Harry, and my God, her jaw hit the floor so hard that she's not going to be able to do the Curly Cooks.
I've never seen her struck dumb.
No, I've never seen her struck dumb, actually, apart from, Harry faces global fury over Taliban kill claims. This is what we were talking about yesterday, that really, weirdly, there's all the family shit that's being thrown around, but actually this is the one that's causing the most sort of upset. Veterans are accusing him of putting his own safety at risk, as well as that of royals and ex-comrades, and especially his dad. I mean, so that's the front of the Daily Mail. And there's a piece in the Mirror where a Muslim journalist, I'll just pop it up, a Muslim journalist, her name is Anila Baig, said, "As a Muslim, this makes me recoil." So do you know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't do well for him in this country with his comrades, and it doesn't do well for anyone from the Middle East, from Afghanistan. Talking about them in such a sort of PS5 game fashion is quite weird. It sort of suggests a real disconnect from reality. And I'm amazed that the publishers actually allowed him to kind of go with it. What do you think, guys? So yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that you know that. But the Daily Star is telling us that. Let me just do this. I'm just turning you over. You're going to lose you just for a moment. That should be. Try that. That should be a bit better. The front of the Daily Star. Is that better? Also, the soldiers in the barracks are going to be a target. Faith Goodman, absolutely right. Ellery Jones, should he have mentioned how many people he killed? I mean, my dad fought in the Second World War. I never asked him that question. Exactly. Can understand why Harry has such an attitude when aged just 12. At his mother's funeral in front of millions, being filmed and photographed by the very media that handed her. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think there's such justified and understandable trauma that it makes sense that he's searching for some kind of meaning. And in a weird way, I think you could possibly see all of this stuff that's going on as him searching for some kind of healing and meaning from everything. Tracy Lynham, sorry, got my grandsons and they need attention. Okay. Lynn Cullen, good morning. Leslie S, happy birthday. That front page of the Daily Star is brilliant with the mask. Yeah, so what the Daily Star is telling you about is there is a free It's Not My Fault mask. And what they've started to do in the Daily Star is every single image they publish of Harry, they have this black letterbox line across his eyes. Incoming.
Oh, God.
Yeah, do you want that mask? I could cut that out and you could present the show with it. So yeah, but the other story, Royal Bombshell, I nearly lost the crown jewels, or my crown jewels. Bashful Duke reveals he got frostbite on his todger. I've seen that. It's not particularly. Haven't seen his. I've seen it happen. An intensely private Duke, which is what the Daily Star keeps saying, he's a shy man. An intensely private Duke has revealed he got frostbite on his old boy during a charity trek to the North Pole. I tell you what, I really want to know. I really want to know what is going to be revealed in all the next books that he's actually writing. Happy birthday, Leslie. Meghan's creepy birth reveal. What's that, Jenny J? What's that? Sue Gilbert, OMG, so cringy, isn't it? But look at this. You know, they've been popular as hell up until now. Now, they're being ironic, Steph B. Yeah. Up until now, I think the American press have been quite supportive, though, to be brutally honest, the New York Post isn't supportive of anyone. But apparently, all these revelations haven't gone down too well in the States. Prince of Wales. Did you get it? I said he's not the Prince of Wales. He's the wailing one. Hi, Christine Bett. So yeah, this is just a story that the US media are dismissing royal revelations as gauche, a little bit tasteless, a little bit, you know, it's just not cricket, is it? Faith Goodman, do you think this could all be a result of taking drugs before and maybe still taking? There's a curious story in one of the papers today saying that when a drug squad effectively was coming out to the barracks in Afghanistan to check whether the garrison or the soldiers were using any drugs, Harry was given special dispensation to head back to the UK. Don't know what that says. We've also found out that Prince Harry's first night date film with Meghan was Inside Out. It's a very sweet film. It's nice to know that they're on Disney Plus. And the Sun are having fun with a potential title for Prince Harry Potter, which is Harry Pothead and the Gobful of Ire. Harry Pothead and the Gobful of Ire. Have we had enough? I think that's got to be every revelation, isn't it? Do you think this is going to dent his sales? Do you think that, Nads? Do you think all this stuff is going to mean that a certain percentage of people aren't going to buy?
That, isn't it? So hard to know. And I would feel,
yeah,
I've heard it all.
I would feel that we've got all of the best bits. Although Shida Roberts, sorry if I pronounced it incorrectly, I need the book to fully gain context of the headlines. I tell you something I have noticed, and this is an important point. Have you noticed how not one media outlet with the preview copy has leaked anything positive about Harry or anything sympathetic about Harry. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's not to say that what perhaps he said he shouldn't have said, but it just struck me just then. There's not a single paper taking the line of either putting it into context, Karen Oliver, like you said, or perhaps floating out some thoughts or accusations or admissions that are at all sensitive or at all, you know, what's the word, sympathetic towards what he's saying. You know, that in itself almost tells you everything. I was just saying, Nadia, have you noticed how there's not a single story that looks at any of the content of this huge book and says anything perhaps is true or positive? It's all the negative stories. And so in a weird way, there's no sort of tone to any of the coverage which says, oh, do you know what? He was kind of, I think he's right to feel this, or, oh, that must be awful for him. Everyone is in outrage and everyone is in shock and everyone is piling in. And that's not surprising. I mean, when you write stuff about being a stallion, it's, you know, it's a bit weird. Christos, it seems that the sex stuff isn't good. But I think that's big. I think he's put the sex stuff in to get ahead of the tabloids. Christos, it seems that Harry is trying to abolish all the stereotypes and what surrounds the monarchy for so many years. It's like he's taking revenge against the institution on behalf of his mum. Yes, it's kind of like almost an act of, but he's not really in the royal family now. It's sort of an act of Harry Carey, isn't it? It's sort of taking himself down, taking the whole thing down. Who remembers Hanif Qureshi, the writer? He was behind The Buddha of Suburbia, the book, and I think he wrote the script. He was also behind a film called My Beautiful Laundrette. You might not. I love that. Yeah, Hanif Qureshi, My Beautiful Laundrette with Daniel Day-Lewis back in the 80s, I think. This is really weird.
This is so funny. Had all the kitchen really tidy for our first curly cooks. Guess what? It's not tidy now already.
Carnage. Novelist Hanif Qureshi has said he may never walk or use a pen again after taking a fall. He was at an he'd just seen Mo Salah score against Aston Villa. He sipped a beer and then he began to go dizzy. I leant forward, put my head between my legs. I woke up a few minutes later in a pool of blood. My neck in a grotesquely twisted position, my wife on her knees beside me. The writer is still in hospital in Rome. He said he cannot move his arms and legs, which he describes as humiliating, degrading, and a burden for others.
Why?
He thinks he'll never be able to hold a pen, and he asked his followers if any of them knew of any voice-assisted hardware. I mean, it's been totally immobilized. Totally immobilized. But there's no real suggestion as to how or why, which is just bizarre, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, I hope he makes some kind of a recovery. So that's Hanif Qureshi, one of our leading novelists, really. Big news story yesterday about the census. 250,000 Brits have changed their identity. More than 250,000 Brits now say their gender is different to their sex at birth, a landmark census data has revealed. The voluntary question included in the 2021 survey for the first time was answered by 45.7 million. I'm surprised. I am surprised. I thought that's a bigger number than I was expecting, if I'm honest. Me Too, My Beautiful Laundrette was one of the first movies I remember watching on New Channel 4. I remember watching that. And does anyone else remember the Red Triangle films? The naughty films they put on at sort of like midnight, which I tried to get in the telly in my room with a really dodgy aerial. Yeah, Jackie Villian, I thought that was quite a lot. Karen Oliver, rubbish. What's rubbish? Laura S. Well, it's quite a lot, isn't it? It's quite a lot. Hi, Ross. Are you in the room? Hi, Lynn Sheard. Hi, April Hill. He needs to now. Oh, Harry, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Britain's gender identity map. Haringey and Brent and Newham top the number of people who have identified with a different gender since their birth. 250,000 Brits. I just thought that was an interesting statistic. Creatorholic, 250,000. That's not a lot in a population of, what is it, 60 million? It's not a lot, but at the same time, I think it kind of is. Yeah, I don't know. Mick Lynch, Nadia's love Bob, love uncle. She likes these strange chaps, doesn't she? He says that the anti-strike law that the Tories are wanting to bring in is like conscription. New anti-strike laws have been condemned as conscription by the RMT union boss, Mick Lynch. This is off the back of, they have been offered an 8% pay rise. There's a real problem here, isn't there? I mean, on the one hand, you know, nurses, doctors are threatening to go on strike for 3 days in a row. Train operators, train workers, paramedics, you name it, teachers, they all want and they all need their salaries to go up in line with inflation at the very least, or a bit more, because it's been frozen. And yet at the same time, it's going to cost a ludicrous amount of money. But he makes a fair point. If you remove the ability to strike, and let's not forget, when people strike, they don't earn money. And when they strike, it's a last choice, you know, it's a last chance saloon option. So yeah, that's, I think that's a fair point. Interestingly, though, I heard on the radio that that Mick Lynch was pro-Brexit, which is curious, isn't it? Let's get on to lighter subjects, shall we? Lake Brickstrict. I like that headline. Lake Brickstrict. That's bloody hard to say. Is anyone hungover? Lake Brickstrict. This is a man who's built an entire national park out of 200,000 Lego blocks. He spent £4,000 on them, this chap, and he's recreated an entire model of the Lake District using Lego. He started it 2 years ago, and he's used 200,000 Lego bricks. Bloody hell. I mean, I suppose at its best, at its simplest, Lego is like a puzzle, isn't it? There's that show on TV, which is really good, where they build a bridge out of Lego. Does anyone else here like Lego? Here's a question. Here's a killer question for Lego fans. Do you like, my granddad used to have a box of Lego, and he'd give it to me and he'd give me a flat bit of green and he'd say, build a house, son. I could be like, all right. And then I build a house, and there was no guide, there was no rule book, there was no IKEA-like kind of instructions. Dina's nodding furiously whilst looking up the story about Harry as a stallion. And yeah, and so there was invention, wasn't there? Whereas now, it does remind you of Close Encounters, yeah, building the sort of, you already built the kind of mountain out of mashed potato. But now they have these themed Legos, don't they? Where you follow the instructions, and really it's just a process of just going, right, I've done that, right, I've done that, right, I've done that. I mean, I don't mind it. It's quite mindful. Jordan Stevenson, I like a guide to follow when it comes to Lego. I think this is quite impressive. It's quite impressive. But yeah. Taylor Swift's cat. I bet you didn't think she or he was. Yeah, she, Olivia. Taylor Swift's cat called Olivia. Guess this. Taylor Swift's cat is worth £80 million. It's the third richest pet in the world. The third richest pet in the world. She's herself worth 470 million, but she faces competition, as it says here, from her own pet. She has a Scottish fold, and because it's racked up millions of likes on Instagrams. They're saying its net worth is 80 million. I mean, I don't quite know how they've arrived at that price. But there are two other dogs. There's a cat Nala that's worth 84 million down on the bottom left. And then there's Gunter the Sixth, who's worth 420 million. Wow. I mean, I don't know. A cat napper is probably definitely going to want to have some interest. Oh, this is an interesting one. This next story, I'd be interested to see what Dina makes of this one. They're saying now, the trade standing officials are saying, don't call vegan milk milk.
Yeah.
Because shoppers might think it's the real thing.
Well, yeah.
People who are angry with this are saying consumers aren't stupid.
If you've got vegan milk.
It says, so I'm looking, you know, when I buy, yeah, exactly. If you buy almond milk or oat milk, yeah.
But then you go down the road with vegan sausages, vegan this, vegan that.
They're saying that such rules would mean almond, soy, and oat milk would have to be renamed, as would the vegan spread. I can't believe it's not butter. But it's not butter. Isn't this going a bit mad? So these proposals are coming from the trade standards officers. They're being carefully considered. This is when I think all of us are treated like absolute morons. I mean, you know, I can walk into a shop and work out that milk's milk, and Oat milk. We can read words, can't we? I mean, that is. What do you think, Sue Gilbert? Crazy, I think so. Jordan Stevenson. But what would you? Yeah, Jordan Stevenson says, what would you call it instead? What would you call it? Almond juice, almond extract, almond press, oat squeeze, oat gunk. Yeah, I don't know what you'd call it. So the Lego chap was quite amazing. But check out this chap, who's possibly mates with the Lego chap. Car park space, the final frontier. Can't quite work this one out. This is very bizarre. Almond drink, that's a good one, Creatorholic. Sarah Fox, almond drink. Coconut milk. Yeah, I mean, what do you call it? Car park space, the final frontier. Bizarre chap. This is a bizarre space odyssey. A nerdy shopper has completed a 6-year quest to park in every single space in a Sainsbury's car park. And he's desperately excited because he's aiming for 14 disabled slots because a friend of his has a disabled badge. I mean, I'm hoping this is just something that he just idly thinks about when he's shopping. He thinks, oh, I'll try a new car park slot. I remember this story last year. The Sun told last year how Gareth Wild decided to spice up his grocery trips by keeping a spreadsheet to tick off each car parking space he went into. Me too. Some people have too much time. Yeah. Sue Gilbert, alternative to milk drink. Maybe it should be like oat liquid. Oat stuff. Okay, this is gonna drive you nuts. Well, in fact, this is going to drive you nuts. Why don't I quickly do this story? 50 Shades of Grey squirrel on CCTV. I can't quite believe what they've put in the speech bubble here. A homeowner saw a rare albino squirrel on his CCTV footage and got a bigger shot. I mean, an albino squirrel, that's quite exciting, isn't it? Anyway, he spotted that she was mating with a grey male. And look what they've said in the picture. Guess where I've hidden my nuts? Bloody hell. When he studied the clip later, he noticed the randy rodents romping against a tree, although she didn't let go of an acorn in her mouth. That's rude. Naughty, naughty squirrels. 50 Shades of Grey squirrel. Home cam catches squirrel romp. Slow news day at the Sun, I think. Schools rule, no sarcasm. No sarcasm. Yeah. Are they? And the Sun asks, are they taking the piss? Here we go. A woke school has sparked parents' outrage by banning teachers from using sarcasm. You know what? It could be. We've got a teacher. What do you think of this?
I think you can't use sarcasm with children under the age of 10.
Yeah.
Because
they probably don't understand it.
They don't. They do. They kind of get that you're not being very nice.
Yeah.
No, they feel like a bit bullied, I think.
But I think teenagers will love it because they're just so sarcastic themselves.
It's bants, isn't it, for teenagers?
Yeah.
It's bants.
They're very borderline.
It's bants. It's tricky though because I guess that teachers may feel a bit vulnerable, mightn't they? Skegness Academy have said that they're banning or they want to stop sarcastic exchanges with students. The whole point of school is to prepare children for the world outside, not to wrap them in cotton woke wool, says one parent. What do you think of that, guys? Sheeda Roberts, sarcasm can be passive aggressive, but when used as comedy is fun. I mean, it's almost one of those things that every statement of sarcasm is different, isn't it? One could be very targeted, one could be very nasty. And the thing about sarcasm is often baked into it is the truth of what someone feels, which sometimes is a bit hard. Sarah Witherington, some adults don't understand sarcasm. Yeah, I agree. Sue Gilbert, judge your audience age-related and state of mind, etc. Karen Oliver, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit.
Oh, I don't think so. When it's cleverly done, I bloody love it.
British are the best at it.
British are the best. Yeah, you are right. They don't agree in the back. So you look for watch the Curly Cooks of Croydon at 10 for a lot of sarcasm. Yeah. You're going to get lots of sarcasm, oozing with it. This story, I don't know why. From Bondi and Bond to Team GB, how swimming trunks are riding high again. What do you make of budgie smugglers, guys? What kind of trunks should a man wear? Do you like men in budgie smugglers, Dina?
Dean's partial to budgie smugglers.
Is she?
No, she's not.
A one-piece scoop neck to halter bikinis. Men have to contend with one question: how much thigh and how tight? The answer for most Brits abroad has predominantly been not very much, with longer shorts much preferred. I have to, hi, welcome Jackie K, welcome. I have to say, I think I prefer, well, I do definitely prefer, I prefer shorts. A fashion wave down under is finally making ground over here. As you know, Australia was the birthplace of budgies. We are now wearing more budgies. I mean, the problem I often find when you're on holiday is that the most, I don't know how to put this kindly, but the most inappropriate men wear budgie smugglers. And sometimes you can't even see the budgie smugglers until they turn round, if you know what I mean. Scanty swimwear has not always been looked upon kindly, even in Australia. So according to the Australian Maritime Museum's assistant curator, men have learnt to embrace the humour in the tiny, tight pants. This is obviously a mini exhibition that's going on over there. I prefer shorts. I like boxer shorts. I like boxer shorts. I like the sort of slightly tighter boxer shorts where you're not showing too much and a little bit's left to the imagination. Me too, but I don't want to always see the budgie. Isn't it curious that it looks like, but you know what? I've never seen a budgie that looks like a crutch. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, that would be weird if you owned a budgie and all you ever saw in it was a penis in pants. Shorts, much better remade, W. Yeah. Faith Goodman, no way and no idea why they insist on them in France. That's a very, very good point. Jackie Villino, they look obscene. And also, I do sometimes think that some men are getting a real thrill, aren't they, from their budgie being out. Who had a rally chopper? Who had one of these bikes? A very curious photo they've chosen to use there. I guess it's the author. He got the chopper from Clown Charlie Caroli. What was the bike of your youth? I had a chopper, but then there was another bike. What was the other bike? Did you have a rally chopper? A chopper bike.
And a chipper. There was a little
That's it. There was a chipper, and then there was another one, wasn't there? There was another sort of competitor with the. I remember riding my chopper down the street, and the brakes didn't work, and I nearly broke my arm, smashed into a car. That low slung handlebar. BMX. I had a BMX. I had a BMX. You were a grifter. That's it, MeTube. A grifter. I love my BMX. I love the BMXs that had all the cushions on it, didn't you? Because it made you think, oh, I can do stunts. I never did a stunt in my life. I remember on my BMX once cycling round and round and round an island near my grandparents, and I thought to myself, I'm going to get to 100. Obviously, something wrong with me. And I got to 87. My foot got caught under the pedal. I was thrown over the top, landed on the floor, and was so depressed and went home. It was just miserable. Debbie Harris, you had a red chopper? A chopper. Yeah. Oh, sorry, no, that is what. I had a cheaper version of a BMX. Grifter with 3 speed gears. Was that the speed gears down the bottom in the middle? You know, do you remember in the middle in front of your seat? I had a rally bike, racing bike with the 2 sets of brakes on handlebars, says Faith Goodman. I had things on my wheels. Yeah, you used to get them in boxes of Kellogg's cornflakes, didn't you? You'd get little shiny things that you could attach to your spokes. And I could never attach them properly. Hi, So Unique, hand pink waving. It's obviously not come through. Sarah Withington, I had one when I would pedal backwards that was the brake. Oh, I remember that. Leslie Sargent, I had tassels. I used to have a horn on the front. Do you remember? A bit like something a clown would have. And finally, a couple of stories here about picture stories. There's Kim Kardashian. This is the story I was suggesting Nadia should recreate. That's Kim Kardashian with Northwest. They're saying she shares a weird TikTok video of her and daughter North dressed up as her dad, Kanye West. When I saw this, I thought they'd kind of photoshopped Kanye's face onto North's face. The 9-year-old used a Sharpie marker to draw thick eyebrows and a beard on her face. What do you think's going on here? Nads, have you seen this?
Yeah, it's weird,
isn't it? Well, I don't know what's going on there. And finally, in the Saturday newspapers news, I just wanted to leave you with an image that will tickle your tummies and make you laugh and make you smile. This is a photo of 2 dogs on holiday in Egypt having a tour around the pyramids. Aren't they absolute sweeties? I reckon they're from, I don't know, where are they from? I reckon they're from Croydon. Oh, Croydon. That's funny. I think they're dogs from Croydon, which means in just 10 minutes, we are going to the live first ever Curly Cooks of Croydon. God only knows what's going to happen in this show. So they're over there. So guys, head over to Nadia's Instagram. I think maybe also Dina's Instagram. There will be links to it. It will be starting at 10 o'clock. It's of no fixed duration. It will be as long as it takes to get the food on the plate and eaten. Thank you. Have a lovely day. And don't worry, we are going to move on from the freeze frame of Dina having her blindfold taken off for a party. That will be coming soon, as will the top 10 films. And don't forget, tomorrow, the No Name Sunday show with a new section in it, all about Dina going around the shops. So, guys, have a lovely day and see you in 10 minutes, though I will be behind the camera. I'm excited. Look, they're making fun.